This episode is for Friday, December 12th, 2014. Welcome, Meteor fans. I'm your host, Josh Owens, along with my co-host,
Rye Walker.
Welcome back.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah, got your Meteor t-shirt on. Look all fancy today.
Yeah,
Nice.
got a few of these.
Yeah. I snagged two out of the box, too.
Yep, I have two as well.
Yeah. So let's see. This week we're going to talk about a new blog package, task scheduling package, Meteor 101 security patch, a nifty update to docs.meteor.com, and do I have to learn Node.js to use Meteor? I don't know. We'll talk about it.
We'll talk.
All right. So before we get into all the other topics, real quick, I'll say, one, you can support the podcast and Meteor Club by going to patreon.com/MeteorClub. It's a simple little setup. You can say, like, I want to donate, like, $2 a month if you want, and there are some little rewards in there. And I got to say, there's been 3 people that have joined the Slack chat room, and it's been a lot of fun, so you're missing out. Check it out, patreon.com/MeteorClub. And then sponsors, we'll get rid of sponsors too if we hit a certain number mark. So, but sponsors this month, which they are awesome, is CodeShip.io. Go check them out. They do continuous deployment stuff, testing, so you can like write some tests and they'll run them, and if they pass, they'll ship your code somewhere if you want. So they've got a lot of awesome integration with GitHub and all the other tools, Heroku, Modulus, all that kind of stuff. So check them out. You can use the code Meteor Podcast, and you get 20% off 3 months on any of their plans. So. And then our other sponsor is Modulus.io. I'm sure you guys know all about them. They are the best Meteor hosting platform available right now. Talked about them last night again, too. It's just super easy to get started, and now they have like auto scaling, so you can watch your CPU and like launch more Meteor instances if you need them. You can change your kind of instance size, so if you've got a Meteor app that's consuming a little more memory, they've got the flexibility to do that. They've got a great team that does a good job of support, and it's just super easy to get a Meteor app deployed there, so I'd check them out, modulus.io. And they also have a coupon, Meteor Podcast, and it'll get you a $25 credit that you can use. So check them out, modulus.io. All right. So first up, the new blog package for Meteor. Sam Hatorum. I probably screwed that up, didn't I? I know Sam real well. Yeah,
There's no R in there.
Hatoum?
Hatoum?
Hatoum? I don't know. I've never had to say his last name. That's so funny. Velocity guy. We'll just leave it at that. All right. Yeah. Anyway, he made a new blog package. It's been extracted, I guess, out of the work he's been doing on the testing book platform that he's been working on, and so he's got like a nice inline editable content kind of interface going on there, and it's CSS framework agnostic, so he wanted to use pure CSS, but he built it in such a way that you just kind of apply your styling. There's no like default classes coming from Bootstrap or anything, and I think in this day and age of Polymer and Google Material Design and all that stuff, this is starting to get important. Like Bootstrap's not the only game in town, so.
Yeah.
Yes, and disclaimer, like I've got a pull request out there to add share it to his package as well. So.
Got it.
Good stuff.
Is the RideW blog package Twitter Bootstrap? It's baked in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sort of baked in there. I don't know how heavy it is, but it's definitely got some Bootstrap classes in there.
Yep.
Which
Yep. If I was going to do it again.
What?
No, I was gonna say if I were to do it again here in 2014, 15 almost, definitely wouldn't bake Twitter. So I think that's the right decision.
Yeah. Well, I spent time as a result of like helping him out with the sharing stuff. I went through and kind of anonymized share it, so to speak, as well, and removed out a lot of those classes. So by default, like all the defaults there are Bootstrap friendly, but then you can easily override them with some settings. So I think that's definitely the way to go forward. So good stuff. I'd check it out. Zolvio :md -blog is the name of the package. It's a mouthful.
Yeah, you actually try to say his username too, because I was thinking that's just as hard.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's easier. Maybe I'm crazy.
Yeah. All right. We'll go to the next one.
Yeah. Real quick before we do that, I see we've got some viewers as well. Feel free to like tweet questions or ask questions on the page, or use the Q&A app, and we may take a question or two at the end here too. So
cool.
Yeah. Carry on.
Awesome. All right, so next topic, we're going to talk a little bit about task scheduling. So a lot of times in your Meteor app, you have work that you need to get done on a schedule, and the question is, how do you do that? So Slava posted to Crater. I love these posts. Like it's like his blogging platform. Yeah.
It's awesome. Keep it up, Slava.
Yep, he did a nice long post on Crater. And the questions are, how would he, what he'd like to have exist in the world, and kind of goes into some of the details around, being tolerant to failures, that it can deal with short tasks as well as long-running tasks, so on and so forth. It's funny because like this is a topic that's near and dear to my heart too. We literally just released a package, Meteor Workers, last week because our new product user cycle has a crap ton of background work. It's like 90% background work and 10% UI right now, and it's always just like doing API stuff. And our experience in the past is if we did that in the main Meteor thread, that it could affect the user experience of the web users.
Yeah, I remember doing that in Fantasy Hub, and the main affecting point actually wasn't like slowness or lagginess or anything. It was actually like when the API went down, we weren't doing proper error handling, and like it crashed the main app, which sucked as well.
Yeah, I've seen it both ways. I think even during Fantasy Hub, there were just if it's slamming data in or out of or I should say into the web app, and there's lots of connected clients, that oplog activity gets persisted. That it has to check a bunch of stuff. I don't know if that's still the case though. That's why I'm trying to.
I think it is. I think it is. Yeah, I was talking about that last night. So I gave a talk on hosting, and that's the downside of the oplog is like if you're pushing too much data into Mongo, then you're gonna ramp up CPU usage on all your boxes because they gotta process all that data.
Yeah.
We need like selective oplog.
Yeah. So it's not even like. So if you're doing all that work, let's say you're inserting 100 records a second from an API interaction, but then there's 100 connected people. That's 100 times 100 things it needs to check. Does it affect this guy's subscription? How about this guy's subscription? And if you're doing 100 a second, you can imagine that's 100 times 100 checks it has to do a second if it wants to keep up.
Right.
So that's where the CPU spikes. And so I think that'll definitely be something that needs to be dealt with as we need to, as we want to make Meteor scalable more easily. And so our package basically takes the work out of the main Meteor process. Have you looked at it yet, Josh? I'm curious if you've had a chance to study it.
I was talking to Greg about it a little bit. I haven't looked at the code, but I did talk to Greg about kind of the architecture of it. And so it sounds like you guys just spawn a new process when Meteor starts, and then like it just sits there and it uses Monk and listens to the collections that it wants to, and then it runs it looks like the API looks pretty similar to how Rescue kind of functioned in Rails land.
Yeah, I think a lot of what we talked about, and I think originally we were just doing background jobs. We just added the scheduling piece to it. So yeah, we'd love to turn it into a valuable package for more than just us. So
Yeah.
We're about to add it to Assistant because I still have that problem I was describing earlier, where too much of the work happens in the main process. See if that helps make that app perform a little bit better. But
Yeah. So I know, like, I don't want to talk too much about client stuff, but like I know one client had some problems with synced cron, like running in their main thread, and it was running like hourly to check for emails to send, or it was running every quarter hour, and like every time it would run, you could actually see it affect like login performance and that kind of stuff. Like people would be logging in, and we'd see these huge spikes in response time on it. So
yeah. So I think we definitely need to do work around this area if we want to build apps. And so so check out the packages. Check out Slava's post. Add your commentary to it.
Yeah, maybe we can take Slava's post and like rearrange it and like throw it as a roadmap over on the workers package you have.
Yeah, that'd be a great idea. Yeah. Because I'd be curious to see how compliant we are with these as it is. Are we 20% or 80%? To just dive through them and check it out. Let's add that as an issue. So, all right, let's go to the next topic.
Yes. So the security patch. There's a couple pieces to this that I wanted to talk about. So they announced that there is now a new, I'm pulling up the code here, an update, and I guess for some reason the allow and deny, they didn't have a check in place from the looks of it to look at the mutator to make sure that it was an object, and so you were able to send in whatever you wanted for the mutator, and I guess that you could do bad things, right? And so they released the security patch, which was just like a 2-liner with white space. It's not a huge one, but I would definitely say install it. Like, this is ridiculously small update, and you should get it in place so that you're allowed. Like, even if you're not using a lot of allow deny, like, you should put this in place because you may still be vulnerable. So highly recommend installing the update. And they updated like basically every branch since 05 or 07. I think it was 05. Every major release got an update as well. So it doesn't matter what version you're on, there should be a patch release in that branch for you. So
and I would also add, they even gave a snippet that if you don't want to upgrade for whatever reason, just copy and paste this code into your project, and that also is another way to solve the problem. So no excuses. Sometimes these things happen, and they caught it, they communicated it, they updated everything. So you just have to do the work of calling the update function.
Yeah. So good stuff there. And then it kind of, like, I decided to spark a debate off this as well on a private mailing list, and I was just curious. Like, I know like Percolate's on that mailing list, and some of the other big players in the Meteor space. So I was kind of curious to hear how people are handling it, and so I said, like, like, I've had this debate with Sasha before about Meteor methods versus just using allow deny, and I feel like I said in the post, I feel like when I'm trying to defend allow deny, like, I'm bringing a knife to a gunfight. Like, I don't know how to adequately say that allow deny is somehow better than using a Meteor method. But for me, like, there's just something feels inherently wrong that we're using Meteor methods to do all this stuff. I feel like Meteor methods should be reserved for special things, not for like everyday kind of data input.
Yeah, it's tricky. It's because it's kind of like an abstract concept that I think generally new people don't really understand what those are, what they're doing exactly. I remember the first time I saw them, I was like, okay, so I just put user ID there? That's weird. What did I just do there?
Yeah.
It's such terse code. Reminds me of the early days of Rails when you were using like belongs to and has many. It's like, what did I just? It seems too easy.
Yeah.
And in effect, it generated like tons of code. Well, not generated, but created lots of methods for you just by adding one little line. So
right.
It's the trickiness part of the easier you make it to do for someone to do something powerful, the riskier it is that they're misusing it.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, there's good tools out there like the security chain from OngoWorks. So, I mean, there's options out there. So if you like Loud and I, you can continue to go that way. But yeah. I thought I'd bring the debate up again.
Yeah, it's tricky. I think it's just like Insecure and what's the other package? Auto-publish. Like, do those belong in Meteor? Like, they do help make it easier for people to get going, but they're usually, on the long term, more of a liability than they are an asset. So
yeah. So like in my training class with those, I tend to go, like, we'll start inserting some data, and then I'll be like, oh wait, we have this crutch here. Like, let's remove these, and then you see like how to hook it up after that. So
right. Yeah. So it's a crutch. It's an early dev crutch, and again, pretty easy to remove when you're ready to remove it. So
yeah, those are. But then it's funny because Glasser jumped in and gave his opinion, and he uses Loud and I, and
he likes it.
Client-side updates. So who knows?
Yep, that's a pending issue. Let's just say. Good that was good for you to bring it up, though. That was a pretty lively discussion. So.
Yes.
All right. Next topic is this one's really easy. This is a fast topic that it's a feature. When did this feature happen? Do you know?
So let me click.
Well, let's tell people what it is first. So basically, when you're in the Meteor docs, if you just start typing, it opens up a little search box. So if I'm here, I just go search for the word Cordova, and they pop up with a little yellow highlight, and you arrow down and press enter, and you jump to that spot in the doc. So pretty awesome. You have to click enter. You can't click the mouse, which I'm sure they'll add that at some point.
Yes, that was a frustration the first time I used it. And if you look at the comments in Crater, like, I'm not the only one. Everyone's like, I don't understand what to do. Like, after I find the one I want, like, what do I do? What?
Yeah, it just goes to show you, even experienced developers can be dumb users sometimes, right? According to the designer of the app.
Oh, here we go. Thanks, Apple. Let's just ring everywhere. All the ring. That's awesome. All right. Yeah, and so I mean, like the event map, you just put like a comma, and then you can put a second event in there, right?
Yep.
So just do it. Come on, guys.
Is it open source? Is that code pull requestable?
I
don't even know.
I bet it is. I bet if you dig, you can find it.
I wish Meteor had their code separated into lots of repositories. Did I ever mention that to you before?
Well, I mean, it should be now, right? Because those core packages should really just become regular packages, not core packages.
Yeah. I remember when I brought that up to them, they said that would be a big pain in their ass, which it is, because it's kind of nice for them to have all the code in one code base, but.
It is. So, like, I get the core packages, but like. The other stuff, I don't know, like the CoffeeScript stuff, like that shouldn't be core anymore. That should just be an outside package. So you could probably cut away like 20 of the packages out of there, I bet.
Yeah, that's progress.
Indeed.
All right, let's go to the last topic.
Last topic. Do I have to learn Node.js to use Meteor? And this is a discussion on Crater as well. And it looks like the consensus is no. Everyone says, like, as long as you know JavaScript, you're fine. I would tend to agree with that. So when I came to it, like, I had some Node experience, but I wouldn't call myself an expert. Like, I knew enough to maybe go in and open, say, Popcorn Time on GitHub and read their source code, but maybe not enough to, like, go build Popcorn Time using Node WebKit. So I would definitely say, like, to me, I don't make learning Node a prerequisite to my training class. So I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think that it's tricky. Like, what is Node? Meteor is a form of Node, and so therefore, if you're doing anything on the server, you're doing Node. You're
true, but at the same time, like. It's a weird version of Node, right? Because they've wrapped everything in fibers and it's all synchronous, and so like, I think knowing Node comes in handy when you're going to pull in npm packages and you kind of need to wrap them up on the server side.
Yeah.
Like maybe that's handy then. But
yeah, I think the beautiful part is like it's easy to pull in npm packages. Like the documentation's good on that. Those packages are. Things seem to just work, especially now in the modern era of Meteor development. Earlier on when there was some weirdness with different competing ways of getting npm packages in, that was a little bit more challenging.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that if you're gonna to build test little fun apps, you don't need to know Node. But as soon as you start building a real production app, there's background work, which is pure Node at that point, really.
Maybe. I mean, so we did that. You were out giving your Polymer talk, but here in Cincinnati, at the meetup, we did a little example app that used Cordova and Ratchet, and I called it Local Eats, and I'm writing a talk around all this as well. So it'll be online. Actually, January 13th.
Oh.
O'Reilly. But anyway. So we just used the HTTP package, and I was able to make requests to the Google Local API and grab data from it on the server side. So like when you would pull up the web page, I would grab your Latin long and then ship that to the Google API and pull back like 20 restaurants that were near you, and that didn't really require me to use Node at all. I mean, I was working in Node, but I mean, it was all like Meteor packages specifically that got it done for me. So.
Yeah. So I think the consensus on Creator is pretty correct. Like generally, no, you don't need to. Just like when you started learning Rails, did you need to know Ruby? And the answer to that was not really for a bit. Like you can write a Rails app for a pretty long time before you really understand what the hell it's doing with Ruby. But eventually you need to learn the language.
Yeah.
Or the framework. Yeah.
Or maybe you weren't here last week. Maybe you learn io.js.
Yes, I heard about that.
Awkward. Yeah. So anyway, that's kind of everything this week. But let me tell you, like there are 20 posts on Crater, and I think the oldest post on the front page is from 5 days ago, and most of it's been within the last 2 days, within the last 24 hours almost, when you look at it. So you guys should be checking out Crater.io. I mean, there is just a ton going on lately.
Yeah.
So good stuff.
Yeah, a lot of momentum behind Meteor.
Indeed, it's growing, and I have actual proof that it's growing, like 50% month over month for the last 2 months on Crater for traffic. So
that's good. You should do a blog post about that. That'd be awesome.
Oh, yeah. All right. I will.
Easy enough.
Yeah. Like it's a 2-paragraph post with a screenshot, right? I can do that.
I love charts.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Do we have any questions from the live listeners?
Let me go look here. We'll search for Meteor Podcast. There are none in the chat.
Okay.
Let's see if there were any on the. No, doesn't look like there were any on line either. Oh yeah, I forgot one last thing. So Patreon, for the people that do sign up, just give you a little shout out at the end of the episode. So we had 2 more sign up. Ben S. and Paul S. signed up this week, and so appreciate their support, and they're hanging out in the chat room and having fun. You could be too. And as always, the other way you can give back to the show is just go to iTunes and leave us reviews. We always love that as well. So maybe next week we'll queue some up and read them.
Yep.
All right.
All right, good show. Talk to you next week.
Same time next week, 3:30. All right.
See you, man.
Bye.
Bye.